welcome to Salem at Work. Again, Salem, this is the show where we get to discuss some workforce development efforts that are being made here locally. Today I have with me a guest who has participated in a program that has national impact as well as brings that national impact locally. Nicole, and again, every time I say your name I butcher it. Say your last name for me?
Pichaki.
Pichaki. See, I was going to say pike hockey again, and then you'd have to arm wrestle me, and every time you beat me, it just wouldn't work. So, AmeriCorps is a program that has internship capabilities and runs that way, and they have a VISTA program. So, and you're a VISTA. So, what does that mean? What is a VISTA?
So the AmeriCorps program is essentially the domestic version of the Peace Corps. It was created in 1965 by the Johnson administration after there was a lot of interest in it from the Kennedy administration.
Okay.
VISTA is specifically aimed at reducing poverty in America. That program is in its 50th year right now.
Wow.
And we all take essentially, we live on poverty wages in the communities where we're working, and we do capacity building and indirect service in the area to help nonprofits, governmental organizations to help reduce poverty.
So you go into an organization that already has an impact on workforce or on some level of poverty. Help me understand a little bit deeper on what that is. You said something about capacity.
Capacity building, that means that we're not necessarily going out every day and we're not exactly ladling soup into bowls. We're not necessarily handing out diapers, but what we are doing is we're working with these organizations to make them more efficient as they help reduce poverty. So it can be related to refugee farming, it can be increasing access to education, and in my case it has to do with reducing some barriers to entry into the workforce for opportunity youth.
Opportunity youth, that's one we hear a lot about. And you're doing your what is it? It's not an internship.
A term of service.
A term of service. Living in poverty during that period of time. You're doing that at our local Insight, our Workforce Investment Board here in the region. And what are you contributing to Insight for that role?
Oh boy, I believe my official title is Career Achievement Network Coordinator. I don't know if I'm necessarily a coordinator per se, but I am doing a lot to sort of make this program more accessible and well-known in the community and to sort of help with the fundraising and sustainability. So I help with the recruitment to bring more 16 to 26-year-olds who are not working and not in school into this employment program where they can get specific help, get with their first-time work experience. I've been working on building some partnerships with the Roberts Teen Parent Program here in Salem so that this program can become an actual part of their curriculum and teen parents can get a paid work experience that also counts for college and high school credit. Yeah. There's a lot more that's always going on. We're planning an event right now with the Willamette Heritage Center that will be part of their History in the News series to raise more awareness about how the Workforce Investment Board is helping others in the community. So that's just a little bit of what's been going on this year.
You have to juggle a lot. She just smiles. You come in and do a service, but you fulfill a large role in the company's build of something. So you're doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. You mentioned
exactly.
You're not ladling soup, but you're making it so that the soup can be ladled.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's much needed. You're an important person. So how did you find out about the VISTA program?
Well, my mom actually works for United Way of Northern Nevada in the Sierra. And she's worked there my entire life. So they always work with AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps Vistas. So I always had a little bit of awareness about the program and sort of what Vistas can do. As I got closer to finishing college, I went to Willamette and I was a politics and Spanish major. I was talking to my advisor and kind of saying, I want to get a little more experience working in the community and sort of figuring out what is out there. And I'm not quite sure how to get started. So he actually recommended that I look into a VISTA program at least to sort of get started, get my own sort of first-time work experience out in the real world, and really get a feel for what's happening in nonprofits, governments, and business in the community.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, great. Now, what was the application process like when you had to go through that? What did you do?
It's a 3-tier application process for to actually be a Vista. Excuse me. So I first had to complete the overall sort of AmeriCorps application, and that was approved by the Corporation for National Community Service. After that, I was interviewed by the team at Insight to see if I might potentially be a good fit for the organization itself. And then from there, I was interviewed by Mercy Corps Northwest, through which I am sort of being sent. They actually take vistas, like 5 to 6 vistas, and send them all over the Pacific Northwest to help with these capacity building programs. So they gave the sort of final go-ahead to say whether I was accepted or not.
Wow, that's a lot of interviewing.
It was a lot of interviewing.
Just like a regular job.
Exactly.
What did you find most challenging about that process?
I think it was difficult because I had to sort of interview for 3 different audiences that were looking for very different things. And so I guess it was difficult to convince them that I would be a good candidate both for this job but also as like a Vista, and that I was really going to take these learning experiences and make them worthwhile in my sort of goals going forward. But I think overall it was not as difficult as it potentially could have been.
It really could have been. Yeah, what about the impact of Vista on you? How has that transpired? What have you been most impacted by doing this so far?
Oh boy, I think I'm impacted every day just by seeing what a lot of young people in this community are going through in order to get their first-time work experiences or even just to finish school. But it's also very impactful to see all the people in this community who are really putting their heart and soul into helping everyone get these experiences, because it's very difficult work and it's not always rewarding right away. So to see people who are willing to just dedicate their lives to that kind of service is really impactful for me.
That's one of those things that it touches on the heartstrings, and that's where impact continues to have the ripple effect, and as those people that invest into others do so continually, you continue that legacy as you participate even further. What do you hope to take away and then accomplish beyond being a Vista when you're done with that service?
That I'm still in the process of deciding, but I think this experience has given me a greater idea of sort of what I am capable of and what is possible for me. And it's given me a chance to see where my strengths really lay. I especially enjoy capacity building, as I've discovered, rather than just working with people hand in hand. I like the little tiny projects that I get to do on my own and then see how they affect others. So I think I'm still working on it and I'm still deciding, but I have a better idea of sort of what I am capable of and what is possible.
And that's really empowering, is it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. My father-in-law, who is in his 60s, just recently told me, I'm still trying to figure out what I do when I grow up. So I think it's a lifelong process for all of us.
Right.
So very, very cool. Now, what would you see the business potentially gaining by hosting you? So Insight is hosting you. I'm sure that this happens, everywhere else that brings in a Vista. What did they gain by hosting a Vista?
They gain a lot. If we're going to talk simply in terms of economics, the actual economic value of a Vista project is usually worth $45,000 per year to an organization. So just in terms of having a person who is there and willing to put in this work, like the value is pretty significant. But they also, I think, get the value of having a young person who can bring some new ideas and some new perspectives to these projects, especially because Vistas a lot of times will relocate to go to different areas. So I know a lot of people who are here in the Pacific Northwest doing Vista projects who come from like Michigan and Detroit. They come from the East Coast, they come from all over the place. And so for them to bring those fresh perspectives and ideas to their projects, I think is very beneficial.
Wow, yeah. That's probably potentially long-term has its own economic value by being able to get a different mindset into a different area of the country. I mean, you stated the $45,000 value economically to an organization, but that's kind of the salary, if you will, of value that they gain. Yet then those new perspectives and vision that can come from somebody that's not from the area. So you grew up outside of Salem, but you're planting roots here? Is that how that's working out for you think? Or
I definitely want to stay in Oregon, I think, and stay sort of in the Mid-Valley because I feel like it's become sort of a new home for me. And I feel like there's a lot of potential to do a lot of good work here.
It's a good place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we like it. I've been here a long time. So anything else that you could add to somebody that's kind of on that cusp and maybe thinking, well, man, that sounds like something I might like to do. What could they do? How should they decide if it is a good fit?
You can definitely research AmeriCorps and Vista positions online. There are thousands of them. And in addition to Vista, there are also normal AmeriCorps positions where you actually are doing direct service, which some people prefer. There's also NCCC, which actually involves like doing community service outdoors, more like the CCC during the Great Depression. It's sort of the modern form of that program. So there are a lot of different things that you can do. I think it's also important to keep in mind that regardless of sort of what the job description is or what, like on the face value you think you will gain from the program, you will gain a lot and like learn a lot about yourself by simply just being willing to stretch and try new things. And even if it's not exactly directly in line with what you want to do, you will still gain a lot.
Excellent. All that personal gain really translates into the other side of things, those that do the hiring. If we can all if we can all gather around an aspect of our own selves, of learning and contributing back to one another, we can go a lot further.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for coming on today, Nicole. I know you had a lot on your plate today, and thank you for taking the time out. So as we close up today, I really want to encourage businesses and individuals alike that are seeking learning opportunities to take into account the importance that lies there of learning about the people that you're bringing in, and learning about what you and they together can contribute to our town, our community, our region, our state, and our nation. There's a lot to get done out there, Salem, so let's get to it. Share yourself with others. So until next time, stay classy, Salem.